Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and today I wanted to show you some things that I have stocked up on for my herbal apothecary. I've gotten so many questions recently about what I have on hand, how I learned about all of this, and really how to start. And I've talked about seeds in the past, and now I wanted to talk about just some basics that you can keep on the shelf to keep you going. I thought this would be a good time to do a video like this just because all of the sickness season is upon us. I do want you to take the mainstream media with a grain of salt when it comes to advising us to stock up prep on just about anything. They are calling for a very severe winter when it comes to sickness and illness, and while I think that may be partially true, I don't think it's as true as what they are saying. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what's going on in the garden, and then I'm going to get you turned around and show you what I've been prepping and stocking on a budget for my family of 5. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Tori. We make videos 3 to 4 times a week all about life here in Northern Colorado. We try and be prepared on a budget. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you are interested in our day-to-day life, I do have another channel and I will link that down in the description box for you. Without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Okay, so first things first on this list, I don't have in front of me because I have used them all and the other packs are in storage, but I always mention the seeds that I have. They are heirloom, non-GMO, and it comes in a pack of over 2,000, and you have to make sure when you're talking about seeds, you know, you're including that each seed packet has, you know, a X amount in there. So not 1,000 or 2,000 seed packets, but 2,000 seeds, if that makes sense. I've had to make that distinction recently, so I just wanted to say that. But anyways, that's always linked in the description box, and those seeds do come with a book about what you can make into medicine, if that makes sense. You can utilize different seeds in your garden for different medicinals, and I suggest starting with that book. But of course, I will link my favorite herbal books in my Amazon storefront for you. Okay, here it is, small but mighty. Please keep in mind, I wanted to keep this list pretty simple and I wanted to keep it budget friendly. I could go on and on about items that you may need for your herbal apothecary, but to get you started, this is a great list. First things first, Everclear. This is going to be the most expensive out of any of this in here, and I can't link it for you, but you could use any type of 100 proof or above vodka, I suggest, but I also have whiskey on my shelf. I like Everclear because I can just get it down the road and it's pretty cheap. It's not the cheapest. I would suggest trying to find some sort of 100 proof vodka that is organic. Maybe you could even make your own. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in some states, but you do you. I say whatever you need to survive. Anyways, Everclear is perfect, and I have found that it just really does a great job. So have that in your apothecary prepper pantry for different medicinals, and I use these to make tinctures. I take most of my herbs and flowers in the garden and put it into a tincture form. So what you do is essentially extract the medicinal compounds from that plant or flower, and you're doing that with alcohol. Some people, they can't do alcohol, and I get that. I would suggest swapping this out for vegetable glycerin, which some people say is cheaper, but it's really not. But another cheaper option would be apple cider vinegar. That's not going to give you the full effect, but it's going to give you some of those plant benefits. So if you're not into alcohol and you're on a tight budget, apple cider vinegar. And guess what? Apple picking season is upon us here in Zone 5B, Northern Colorado, and you can make your own apple cider vinegar. So again, I think I've mentioned in the past, I don't know if you can extract with that type of apple cider vinegar just because you need a certain acidity level, but you never know. I know that is true with canning, but with apothecary herbs, you can definitely make your tinctures out of something other than alcohol. This is just what I like to use. Next up, a lot of people don't like tinctures, and maybe they don't want to drink their tinctures in that form. So when it comes to drinking, you could make a herbal tea or tonic, whatever you want to call this. Tonics have their own sort of definition on the apothecary shelf. I always find it's a mixture between a tea and, I guess, whatever you want to call this, a tincture or an infusion. But all of those 4 terms are very, very different when it comes to your apothecary. And if you're into this kind of thing, definitely research it. I'm not here to school you about any of it, but tea bags are really great to have on hand. I try and find the bleach-free, just natural tea bags. I will link the ones that I have on my Amazon storefront, but you just put whatever dried herb you want into this pouch here, seal it up, and steep it like a tea. Of course, you can put a lot of different herbs in these tea bags, but do your research when it comes to mixing different herbs. Some just really don't work together, and some herbs work on their own. Some herbs you just really need an extra oomph of another herb to have your body absorb it properly. So tea bags are relatively inexpensive, really great to have on your prepper pantry shelves. The next form of prepper medicine, and that is going to be capsules, empty capsules, and I use this for charcoal. You can use just activated charcoal that you can swallow orally, and it's great if your child or yourself really isn't feeling the best, or they somehow get into contact with something toxic. They can pop that in on the way to the hospital. I do believe that modern medicine has its time and place, and I believe that modern and herbal medicine can coexist together. I don't believe in the heavy push of pharmaceuticals and vaccines that the US government has on us right now, and honestly, I will speak openly about that. I am not afraid anymore. I feel that this entire country is in a divide, and unfortunately, we cannot get along. And what we can't understand is that the government is really the people trying to divide us, and honestly, they're poisoning us. So this is why I make videos like this. Again, if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. We can chat about it in a positive, constructive way in the comments down below. But I did want to mention that really quickly, and I will get off my podium here and get back to this prepper pantry positive medicine. So yes, you can take your herbs and dry them, dehydrate them, and then put them in this capsule form. My favorite way to use these capsules is to put dried yarrow in there, and we use that for a variety of things, but basically it is great for the blood. It can actually stop your blood too, so there is a lot of use for yarrow, and oftentimes I'm breaking the capsule up and putting it on a wound just so we can get that blood to clot and stop. But yes, capsules are great to have. If you don't like tea or tinctures, here's another way to take your herbal medicine. And then last on the list is going to be a vessel to put them in. And I always suggest glass. Never put your herbal medicine in plastic. That's just not good for you. That's another version of the government poisoning us. If you don't agree with that, totally fine, but that's just a fact at this point. So Ball makes, great mason jars. If you're canning, I would suggest not using Ball just because they don't have a great seal rate, but I always find Ball mason jars on sale at different places. I found mine at my local farm stand. She sells it for $5 a case, and I've gotten like crap about that in the past, but that's just my local farm stand. It's a place that you could go to maybe ask about that, because typically you're going to find some like-minded people that also like to preserve their garden. So maybe they have an in on where you can get some cheap mason jars, but these are great to have for a variety of places in your house. But the prepper pantry, trying to get it to focus here with this strange lens. There we go. The prepper pantry is a great place to store all of this. And I've heard that there's going to be a glass shortage. So I'm curious as to find if that's actually true, but you never know. And I use mason jars for a lot of different things. So I stocked up when I could. And whenever you find a sale, drop that down in the comments, because you never know who lives in your area and they might be able to utilize that sale right along with you. And that is going to be it. Don't forget to check the links in my description box. I'm going to take you on outside and show you what's happening in our garden / fall garden. It's really moving in steadily to September, and our fall garden is doing great. So I can't wait to show you. I always like to update all of you who are interested in that. If you're not, that's totally fine. Thanks for sticking here with my apothecary prepper haul. All right, we are out in the garden, and here are the haps. We have a zucchini plant, or a few, just going wild in here, honestly. Sick of zucchini. I know a lot of people probably are, but I'm happy for a bountiful harvest. Here's another one. So yes, we definitely need to get that inside here. And hey, buddy, will you grab this zucchini? Thank you.
Ready?
It's ready. What do you think of that? Look. a little bit, he's fat. He looks like a little bit of a raccoon with that dirt on your face. And then moving on to this bed, this is where I put the chicken compost, and it's doing great. It has these mini pumpkins happening here, winter squash, whatever you want to call it. We have some beets going in there. Anytime those chickens come out though, anytime they get out of their fence, they nibble on these beet greens. They really enjoy it. So I was going to save them for the summer, but I think I'm going to end up just giving them to the chickens throughout the winter just because they enjoy them so much. We have some tomatoes happening there with a busy grasshopper chomping away. I don't care though, because we have a lot of tomatoes happening. I just keep grabbing them and putting them in a freezer bag, and then we will can them all together later on. Over here is our bean update. If you're new here, we planted these from grocery bag beans that we got at the Dollar Tree and various places, and we're doing good. Yeah, so we just have some whatever they are, just yellow beans in there, pole beans. And then over here we have some coming along. I forget what they were. Let me see. I don't know. What do y'all think? Let's do some guesses. I have a guess, but I'm not going to tell you. Okay, but yes, beans are doing awesome. And then over here we have pineapple sage. That is just, I've been picking at it probably every day, and I made a tincture, so I used a lot of it the other day, but that will keep coming up. And then as you can see, we have some slumped over sunflowers, and that's what happens. This one has snapped in half because of the squirrels, and typically that's what's going on in this season when it comes to our sunflowers in the garden. And then over here we have some peppers coming through and just some beautiful flowers, but unfortunately this is bindweed, and it just gets all over and wraps around these plants and takes from them. But we have some bell peppers coming from the plant, and I'm just loving this box. It's fun and super easy. I tried a different soil in every box just because I was curious, and we are in the season of trial and error because we're not on our forever homestead. So why not experiment while we still can? I think it's fun. I'm not growing our year-long food right now. I would like to at some point. And then we have some echinacea here. I use echinacea to make a tincture. Check back in my recent videos. I just did a video on how to do that with your echinacea. There's different types. This is angustifolia, and then this one's a purpurea, I guess, if you want to even call it that. But we have so many varieties of different flowers in here because I found a bunch of seeds that I enjoy. So yes, as you can see, this is the time that the squash comes creeping through the sidewalk, and I can't even get through. But I do love it because they're just so beautiful, and it attracts so many different kinds of bees around, and that can be good and bad. But yes, over here we have some squash creeping through my Florida weave setup. That did not work, but that's okay. But yeah, it's creeping through my carrots and my greens. I'm letting a lot of these greens go to seed so I can collect the seed, save it, and then plant it next year and the years to come. So we have some pumpkins. If you haven't seen, we harvested them on the other channel. That was just my recent vlog video, just like a day in the life on the homestead, and the kids really enjoy doing that. And then we do have some sweet meat squash down there and lakotas, but the squash bugs got to this area. I'm happy that we got the pumpkins out before they got to it too hard. But this was my three sisters planting method that the squirrels had another idea for. They took those seeds and moved it around, which is totally fine because we're still getting things from these plants, but it's just not doing it in the way that I wanted it to. So again, I just throw caution to the wind when it comes to planting, and I really don't focus on insects, pests, or anything like that anymore. All I do is increase what I'm planting, and that seems to work for us. So we have some corn here, and then I do see some mildew and rot on some of those leaves, so that's okay. That plant probably won't be producing anymore, but I'm interested in those leaves. I am teaching a little homeschool lesson to my toddlers, and I think we can print some big giant leaves with some homemade ink. I think they'd really like that, and that would be really fun to do. And then over here we have our yarrow along with some weeds just happening over there. whether I take yarrow leaf and I make it into a tincture, or I dry it and I make it into some powder. I'm laughing at my chickens just staring at me over here. I will show you them in a second because they're part of our little homestead. And then over here I have some more sunflowers. I have one of these beautiful sunflowers that a squirrel just knocked the head right off of. I have some volunteer tomato plants because this is where I used to feed the chickens, and they did really good over here. They did well with mulch on top of it. So honestly, I think that's the way to go with some of these varieties. That's just me though, and my climate. I think this is where I'm going to plant them next year. Over here I have some chamomile that the fence has fallen on, and then star of the show, we have some chickens and ducks, and they make phenomenal eggs for us. And this is my duck pond that they won't touch because there's a tarp there. But duck eggs are great. Ducks have an egg that has 9 grams of protein, whereas chickens have an egg that has 6 grams. So we keep both on hand. The ducks are fun to watch. The chickens can be jerks sometimes, but we love them. Don't we, Dixie? Yeah. Dixie's last in pecking order, and then this beast here, Dolly, is my number 1 hen. Yeah, I'm talking to you. And then we have Daisy too. She's brand new, but yes, they are part of the homestead, so they of course had to make an appearance. Flies not doing good over here, really not doing the best, but that is what is happening on our tiny little homestead. We do what we can with the space that we have, and the kids really enjoy helping out. So I did want to show you that. Thank you for sticking here on our little garden tour. Alrighty everyone, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you found this list helpful. I of course am going to link everything for you in the description box, but please know that you could probably find these items cheaper than where I'm linking. You just really have to utilize those thrift stores. Some items can be free. Like I said, head to the library, see if you have a seed bank, go and see if anybody on your local market page is giving away free items. I always encourage people to do that. Reach out to your local communities, and I recommend trying to make that connection. I always say it in my videos, bartering is a great way to stock up on the cheap, and I promise you, you have something to barter with, whether that be a skill that you may have or something that you're not using. Please utilize bartering. I think that is going to really help us in the future. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye everyone.